just over 3 weeks since we saw you in again with Joseph Parker.
Yes.
Parker won it again. The dust has settled a bit. We were worried. I was watching it. I was a bit concerned about you because your usual bravery came into play. You never know when to quit. You're never going to quit. You're never a quitter. But people are worried about you now and again because, you know, your heart can rule your head. Where are you at now with it, Derek, when you look back on that?
You know what? You know what happened? Yeah, I don't like to cry over spilt milk. You know, I'm not going to be David Hay. And bring up my toe in the middle of the ring, basically. So a week before the fight, you know, the wife was not feeling well. She goes to me, I can't hear the pond, the water streaming on the pond. So I'm like, you know what? I'll go outside and fix it as a husband does. So as I go outside, I slipped so far backwards and broke my thumb, as you can see.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man. So I put it back together myself. I want to see doctors. And one of my doctors goes to me, I can have you fight. I'm like, you know, as long as the show goes on, because I don't want to be, you know, there's so many things happening in the world. I don't want to be like, you know, tell people I'm pulling out because of this and I'll be regretting myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm a fighter, you know, let me just go with it. So they mended me up, went in it. And then I boxed with a broken thumb. And, you know, but fair credit to Joseph Parker, you know, he came well prepared because of my, you know, he's watched the recent fight and stuff like that. And they only practiced on 2 shots. That was to chuck the right hand, let me slip on the other side and come with the uppercut. But he was not looking for the right hand. The shot he was looking for was the uppercut. And the fact is, he did it. He landed very well. You know, when he landed the first one, I was like, was it the first one? I think the first one, I know, the first one, he caught me. And I was on the floor, I'm like, what am I doing here? And I looked, I'm on the canvas, I'm like, oh, damn. I'm like, not again. So I got up, the ref is counting. And then the second one, I think I went on the ropes and the ref counted. I'm the ref, I'm not on the floor. He goes, oh, the ropes save you. I'm like, you mug.
There's a question I want to ask you, Derek, about that fight, actually. I mean, you were showing amazing powers of recovery, for one, in that fight. You know, every time you went down and Joseph tried to pull it on you. But what I wanted to ask you was, a lot of people asking me was, every time after you'd been down, you decided to walk back into the corner and stand into the corner. What was the reason behind that? What was the tactics behind that?
Because when you're hurt, if you stand in a corner, you got the corner to save you if he comes and attacks. Your back is on the ropes. You can't go anywhere else, and the other rope is looking after you. The only way you can fall is forward. If you fall forward, you're going to grab hold of him. So I stood there, but I stood with a long stunt that he had to work more to come in and try and knock me out. And half of the time, I was so far off, when he was chucking shots, I was moving around. And I learned that from David as well, from Dave Caldwell, because he was showing me because if you go on the ropes, I would like you to stand like this. So I figured out I'll do the same stunt on the corner of the ropes, basically. And it did work out. Worked out very well for me.
And another part of the question I wanted to ask you was, when you're hurt like that, and there was a couple of times in that fight where I thought, that's it, it's done. I don't know if you guys felt the same. That's it, it's done. What goes through your mind? How do you find that strength to come back the way you come back? Because that's when you're having your best part of the fight. When you're seriously hurt, seems to be when you retaliate and have the best part of the fight.
I looked at, you know,
what goes through your mind?
The fans. I glance a little bit outside, and I see them standing up, and I see some of my friends, some of my management team, and I'm like, so this, man, I'm going for it. You know, I don't care, man. I have to be wheeled out here by a wheelchair on a bed. I'm going for it. So, and then plus that national anthem, oh, there she's all right. And then that juices me up more, you know.
It's amazing, that, isn't it? It's just in your DNA. You just don't know when to stop. You don't know when to quit. You'd never quit.
I can't. It's hard. You know, even when I'm sparring, even when I'm running, even when I'm doing my vertical climb, I just want to go to that climax of like, I don't have any more, and I'm trying to look for that power, endurance more.
But basically. Derek, that said, is it true in 2022 you actually do want to go in there with Wilder?
Yeah, I think we both came out 2 losses back to back. I think why not? You know, people are saying, why does he want to do that for? But they're not me. You know, people are not built like me, to be honest with you. You know, I want to fight. You know, the thing is, I'll be honest with you. You know, I want to fight everybody. And so when I hang it up, I can look back and say, you know what? I fought everybody in my era. I enjoyed it. You know, I loved it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be like, I don't want to duck and dive and then suddenly, you know, at the end of my career, people are like, oh, you wish you boxed this guy. I'm like, no, I want to fight everybody right now.
But could you beat Wilder?
Mate, I don't know. But yes, I want to go for it. 100%. Yes, I'll beat him.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
You can't argue with that, can you? An attitude like that, you can't argue with it.
Yeah.
Well, you would hate to think, I mean, in all fairness, without taking it off piece, you'd hate to think that someone sits in front of you and thinks they're going to lose. So it's part of the territory that Derek would have as a fighter, without being one myself, to suggest that, yeah, I think I can win that fight. When you look at the landscape, I mean, the Deontay Wilder fight is a real financial opportunity for everybody because it's a big name. You're a big name in British boxing. He's a big name in world boxing because of the trilogy of fights that he's had with Fury and because of the reputation that went before him about the biggest hitting heavyweights in history, which I don't think is true. I think George Foreman hit harder than him, but that's a different discussion. But when you look at it, do you think that Wilder is a fight that leads you somewhere to fight for something other than the well-earned right to get paid big dough? Does it take you somewhere, Derek, in boxing terms, like gives you a shot at winning a title somewhere?
Listen, I always say this to you, everybody out there and to your listeners. My world title for me is people recognizing me on the streets. Yeah, that is it. That's my world title. That's all I love. You know, because I worked hard to get to the top. You know, I used to box in New York Hall. Yep. You know, at 200, and I was still.
And I saw you at the Grosvenor House Hotel 15 years ago.
Do you understand? So, so I've worked hard to get on the bigger stage, and the bigger stage for me is to have those 20,000 people watching me.
You don't want to give it up easy.
I don't want to give it up easy, and I don't really care about the title which comes with it. But as long you're taxi man, your bin man, the general cleaner, whoever's out there, as long as I walk in there and they recognize me and they say, "Oh man, that's a great fight," you know, that's my world title.
It means everything to you to be a man of the people.
Not even the man of the people. As long as I bring happiness to your life for that split second, I'm happy.